In simple terms, we break it down. Complex stuff, we make it sound clear and easy for you and me. Billy Goattails and Dave Digital bring knowledge we share. In simple terms, we're everywhere. We love you, fam. Hashtag givers gain.
Good morning, goats. Welcome to the Simple Terms podcast, where when we go live, everything starts to go wild. So we are on the Simple Terms podcast, where we break down complex topics in simple terms. I am your host, Dave Digital. This is King. He wanted to come and say hi this morning. So he says hi, good morning to King, good morning to you guys. Today, we are going to dive deep into the world of file storage, decentralized file storage. This was brought to us, our topic today was brought to us by our friend and mod, Andrea, affectionately known as Andi. So we are going to dive into file storage today. I mean, I know basics about decentralized file storage. I kind of understand it, but you know what this show is about, guys, right? This is a show where we learn. This is a show where I found these tools that seemed like it was going to be easier for me to learn, make it more interactive and fun for me to learn different things. And there's so many things that I don't know. And decentralized file storage is one of them. What roles does it play? You know, what did AWS have to do with that? What does Cloudflare have to do with that? Is decentralized file storage like Arweave or Filecoin the next thing? I mean, I really don't know. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to jump into that and figure it out. I do see you guys in the chat. I see Alexander G dropped a super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Good morning to Alexander G. I see Jesse in the chat, always first in the chat. I see Johnny December. I see Joe from Trade Intuition. Good morning, Joe from Trade Intuition. Great to see you still on the treadmill. He's got a new time, guys. If you guys have not visited Joe at his new time slot, it is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He does have a new fiat mining job to where he goes and mines fiat, and it looks, man, I don't know if you guys have been watching, but he looks so happy right now. So good for you, Joe. I'm excited that you're happy. I'm happy that you're happy. I'm not sure if I said hi to Curtis Hill or to Johnny December, but good morning to both of you guys. All right, now let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. So you'll see here, we are in a trade on Bitcoin. So I saw this, I'm sure you guys can see, excuse my mess, that my charts are for me. They're not really for you guys, so there's definitely a mess. So you can see this box up here, that's 786, 618, and then we had this high volume node. So we started to lose that momentum. We set in our bear dip, and then we set in a lower high, and then we started to lose it. So I got in right there and been riding it this far. So it seems like we stopped a little bit early. So at the 88K, I think that we need to come down to at least the golden pocket down here at 87. But I mean, it's not guaranteed. But I mean, there's a few things you can see. We have a golden pocket, we have a high volume node, we have a weekly and daily negative pointing control, which both have been tapped. But usually after they tap, or sometimes after they tap it, at least since I've been paying attention, they will go back and retest that and then go. And that also lines up with this volume node. So you see we have a high volume node up here, and then another semi-high volume node down here, but we've got this big gap in here. So it could get caught up in here. This volume, obviously the volume node isn't a tell-all be all, but with all the other confluence, I would at least expect it to come down here and tap somewhere. So we'll just keep an eye on Bitcoin. And of course, after it taps down here, I do expect that it's going to go right back through, because if you guys see, we've done this a few times. Bang, 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 and we're doing it again now. So what we want this time is to bounce through, get on top of that, right? Get on top of that volume node, and then go into higher numbers. So that's what I hope that happens. We'll have to just keep an eye on Bitcoin to see. I'm also in a trade on Zcash, and you can see that this trade is not doing as hot. We've had some good moments. So I got in here on Zcash. We had some good moments, made it up to here. I was expecting it, if it pulled back, to again stay hang tight on this volume node, but it does look like it's retesting this daily naked point of control. So hopefully it will hold there, and then bring it back up to these weekly naked point of controls up here. Obviously, there's no guarantees. It does look okay as long as we can set it a higher low and then go. May have put my stop loss a little bit too high, so I may have to move that out a little bit. All righty. Looks like everybody can hear me. I do see you guys chatting it up. Joe's in the chat. Curtis in the chat. Everybody that I've already said good morning to is in the chat. Perfect. I do see 18 total viewers between X and YouTube. So I do want to show you guys too something here and kind of explain it a little bit, what happens over here on Patreon, and what is the method to my madness, right? So each week we pick out a topic, and on that topic, on Saturday, we're going to do this live deep dive. And the deep dive is interactive. Everybody can ask questions. You can even suggest topics. I'm going to ask the AI questions from my point of view, just so that I can understand even better. But before all that happens on Saturday, what we're getting into, what the plan has been, and we've been rather steady, I think going on 5 or 6 weeks now, we've set out these other assets before the show on the same topic, okay? So first comes out, I'll get up to that in just a second. First, you guys get the brief. Where is it? Down here. The brief. Okay, so first you get the brief. So the brief is just, this one's a 3-minute summary of what's going to happen in the show. So it's just a real quick video. Get your mind, get your juices flowing on the topic of that week. And then we drop the sources. So I make some sources and I drop those in here, so you guys can also start, if you're a nerd like me, maybe you want to start your own research. So that's what the sources are for. I know Andi is a nerd like me. So we drop in the sources there. And then we drop, that's the sources, this is explainer video. Okay, and then we get the explainer video. So just a 7-minute summary of what's going on with visuals. And then you get the debate. The debate is an audio only version, and it's with the two personalities debating the different sides of that week's topic. So that's really an eye-opener. This will get your juices flowing and get you ready for coming in on Saturday, wherever we go live. And then you can ask all the questions. And then the critique. The critique is where they talk about the whole idea. Is it good? Is it bad? Really, this is where I start the week at. So I come up with the topics. And then I take all the sources and I drop them into the notebook, and then I formulate the critique. Once I formulate the critique, what I'm wanting to hear, so sometimes the critique will tell me, hey, these sources are off and these sources conflict and this is bad and this is bad and this is bad. So if the critique is telling me those type of things, good morning, Jay Violet. What I'll do is I will keep running, I'll make changes to the sources until the critique starts to talk about show flow and it starts to talk about actually what's in the sources. So when it goes from these are contradicting, this doesn't seem right, your Grok and ChatGPT said this differently, this is what I found, these sources contradict this. Once we stop at that point and it starts to say, okay, on file storage, here's the problem, decentralized over centralized. So then once it starts to go in that direction, then I know I have good sources, and then we build everything else out, and they're all in there. And good news for you guys here on YouTube, or yeah, everybody that watches on YouTube and on X or on X. So what happens on those guys is you're about 2 weeks away from getting your first video. So I am releasing the brief, the explainer video, or not the brief, the explainer video, the critique, and the debate on YouTube, but those are going to be a month behind. I have already scheduled 2 weeks, and so you guys are 2 weeks away from those coming out on YouTube on the free level. So at least everybody on YouTube will still get to see it. If you want to get into Patreon, it's very simple. Links in the description. But we have 90 days free from whenever you sign up on the family tier, which is normally a $21 level. $21 obviously is less than $1 a day. It's obviously less than what anybody spent. Most people in America spend on Starbucks. I know there are special circumstances, but for most people, I think that's totally affordable. It puts us behind a paywall. We don't get the YouTube rules. We get to kind of do what we want over here. So if you guys want, take advantage of that. We still have 92 spots left. So you get 90 days free, and you get all of those things that I just showed you. And those come out in the Patreon. And we will also be doing live streams over here, probably be off topic, like 3i Atlas, things like that. We haven't done our first one yet. We also have a chat over here, but we're waiting on, obviously the chat is not super active just yet, but it will become super active soon. So that's our Patreon. Getting ready for the future. And so now, let me see. Everybody is doing good. Steve O is in the chat. Good morning, Steve O. Good to see you, Steve O. Let's see here. I also would like to see here. Wish you guys, as we're getting into the holiday season, a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas from me, and Merry Christmas from the Billy Goat Tales team.
Wishing you a very Merry Christmas from the team at Billy Goat Tales.
All right. Good. Merry Christmas to everybody. And so let me see here. There we go. And if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let's get into the deep dive on file storage, decentralized file storage. Oh, before we get in and we start interacting with the AI, our hosts, please, if you have an X account, take a moment, share it on your X account, say something cool about why people should join. Same way if you're in Discord and you're allowed to share, they have a share wall. Please share this out in Discord. And if you're in group chats with your close circle, I'm sure you have a close circle of Bitcoin friends. Everybody has so many Bitcoin friends. So if you can do that, share it out. I will put this up there. Uh-oh, there with that. Sometimes this camera just does what it wants to do. So up in the corner there, you will see, there we go. You will see the Patreon link. So that'll be there throughout the show. So all you have to do is scan that. That is a live link to the Patreon membership. And so if you guys are ready, I am ready. Let's jump into it. All righty, let's jump into the deep dive. You guys know how this works. Andi has already sent in some questions, so I do have some questions for her. I will save till the end. I think, was it last week or week before, we jumped right in and started really getting after the AI, and they definitely lost their place. So we want them to get through the content that they have prepared. We will interrupt them a little bit, and I will be looking at your questions over here in the comments section, and I will. Is that Rashad? Good morning, Rashad. And Mike Bulmer. Good morning, Mike Bulmer. Andi. I thought you were working, Andi. Look at all these beautiful people in the chat. Okay, yeah, definitely. If you guys have other questions, let me know in the chat and I will star them. And then, so let me know if you guys can hear. And let me unmute them so you can hear. And we would start right now.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to
One
cut
in the
through
chat.
the noise and really get into the nuts and bolts of the tech that's shaping our future.
Today we are going deep. I mean, really deep into a part of Web3 that most people
One
just,
in the chat.
take for granted. We're always talking about tokens, smart contracts, DeFi.
All the exciting stuff.
Exactly. But we almost
There we
never
go.
ask the
Thanks,
most
Jesse.
basic question: where does all the data actually live?
And this isn't some, abstract philosophical question anymore. The centralized internet, what we all call Web 2, it just keeps giving us these brutal reminders of how fragile it all is. We're talking about massive failures.
Embarrassing failure.
Yeah, at the very companies that we have come to depend on for literally everything. So I think we should start there. Let's talk about what happens when that single point of failure fails.
Let's do it. And a perfect example is the recent AWS outage. It was in the notorious US East 1 region.
US East 1, the one that always seems to go down.
It's the one. And you have to understand this region isn't just like a server farm. It is the operational backbone for a huge chunk of the entire internet. So when it goes down, it takes everything with it in this massive grinding halt.
So what was it this time? And what was the root cause?
It's almost a running joke in the industry at this point. It was DMS.
It's always DNS.
It is always DNS. The problem wasn't some, physical disaster. It was a failure in the DNS resolution for DynamoDB APIs. And it turns out so many other core AWS services depend on that one thing.
And that's the scary part, isn't it? A single point of failure in a naming service for just one critical database system was enough to cascade and just collapse the whole region.
We were looking at the community postmortems on this, and the feeling was just palpable. People were shocked at the scale of it, how one DNS issue created this massive systemic bottleneck.
That concept, that single point of failure, that is the ghost haunting the machine of Web 2. And it's not just AWS, right? We also saw that incredibly detailed report from Cloudflare.
Oh, that incident was a masterclass in catastrophic failure, but it was physical this time, not logical.
Right.
It happened at their Flex Central Data Center in Oregon, PDX-DC. Oh, hey, welcome. What's up?
Good morning. It's Dave Digital here. You guys are definitely diving right in, and I appreciate that. But before we get started, I want to let you guys know that we are live right now on YouTube. We have live audience members, and I would like for you to say hi to each one. We have Alexander G, who started us off with a $10 super sticker. We have Jesse Haluk in the chat. We have Joe from Trade Intuition, who has a new time where he streams at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Curtis Hill. We have Johnny December. We have Steve O. We have Mike Volmer, known as the Mod King. We have Jay Violet, and we have Rashad. I'm not sure if we've seen Rashad on this show before, but we would like to welcome all of those folks into the chat. And it looks like we already have a question also from Jesse Haluk, and he wants to know, are you saying DNS or are you saying DNF? And he wants to know, what does that stand for?
Good morning, Dave Digital.
Welcome, and huge welcome to everybody in the chat.
Alexander G, thank you so much for the super sticker.
Jesse, Joe from Trade Intuition, Curtis Hill, Johnny December.
Steve-O, Mike Volmer, the Mod King, the Jay, Violet, and Rashad.
Welcome, welcome. We love having the live audience with us.
And thank you for the question, Jesse. That is a perfect question.
Yes, we are definitely saying DNS. We do not want to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons right now.
Right. We are saying DNS, and that stands for Domain Name System.
It's the internet's phone book. It translates human readable web addresses like google.com
into the numerical IP addresses that computers use to talk to each other.
And what we were saying earlier is that the failure of this naming service,
the DOS resolution, was the root cause of the last massive AWS outage.
It's that single point of failure that we're talking about, where one small part can take down the whole thing.
And that fragility, that dependency on a few centralized naming servers. Hey, yeah, what's up?
You guys are doing great. I'm a little worried that I'm going to get you off track, so I don't want to get you off track, but I did have somebody else jump into the chat, a couple more people. JC jumped in the chat, and he said that we forgot him, so definitely don't forget JC. Say hi to JC. And then Al Jr. jumped in the chat. And then Jesse has already said, thank you for answering the question. You have answered it perfectly. Please keep right on track. We have a lot to cover, and I want you guys to get through it all.
Oh, that's wonderful. We absolutely do not want to get off track.
And Jesse, thank you so much for the feedback. We appreciate it.
And a massive, massive welcome to JC and Al Jr.
Sorry we missed you at first, JC. It's so great to have you both here.
We love the interaction, Dave Digital, so please keep those updates coming.
We'll keep our eye on the goal here, which is decentralized storage.
Jesse's right. We have a lot to unpack, and the fragility we're discussing is actually the perfect segue.
That dependence on centralized naming services like DNS is the key theme for this entire episode.
It directly ties into why decentralized file storage is necessary.
Absolutely. Thanks again for chiming in, Dave Digital, and welcome again to everybody in the chat.
Okay, let's get back to the Cloudflare incident we were talking about.
Right before the great DNS question, we were in Oregon, PDX DC04.
We established that a ground fault instantly shut down both the remaining utility line and all 10 generators.
Wow. So everything just went dark all at once.
Well, for a moment, you have the UPS, the uninterruptible power supply.
The battery's designed to give you like 10 minutes of power to bridge the gap.
10 minutes, that should be enough time to figure things out, right?
It should be, but Cloudflare's own report showed the battery started failing after just 4 minutes.
4 minutes? That is a brutal margin of error.
4 minutes of backup power, and then the entire data center went dark.
And to make it worse, key systems like, door access controls, they weren't on the battery backups.
The staff on site couldn't even get to where they needed to go.
It was a total failure of hardware, of process, of planning.
That's terrifying. 4 minutes. So these outages just scream fundamental vulnerability.
Relying on one region and one company, one physical building, it's just an insane amount of risk to build on.
Especially for what's supposed to be the next generation of the internet.
And that's the core of the problem. If our Web3 apps, our dApps, are still using AWS S3 or Cloudflare to serve their images or their front ends,
They're not really decentralized at all. They're decentralized in name only.
they're built on the exact same fragile foundation we just talked about.
Exactly. The same single points of failure, the same censorship risks that Web3 was created to solve.
Okay, let's unpack this. This is why we need to have this conversation.
In this deep dive, we're going to look at the real foundation for Web3.
Decentralized File Storage Networks, or DSNs,
We're going to cover the big ones, the core protocol, IPFS.
and then the layers that actually make the data stick around, specifically Filecoin and Arweave.
And before we jump in, we have to give a huge shout out to our moderator, Andi.
That's Andrea for suggesting this topic. Thank you, Andi.
Yes, this is such a critical subject, and it connects
So
so
fancy.
perfectly to things we've talked about before.
Like
Andi.
ZK rollups and account abstraction, smart wallets.
All those advanced Web3 tools, they need this resilient, trust minimized storage layer underneath them.
The plumbing has to be decentralized too.
And to really get how these systems work, how they break free from that AWS model.
We have to start with the foundational concept that they're all built on.
And that is content addressable storage, or CAS.
Okay, CAS, let's start simple. What is content addressable storage?
How is it different from, how my computer stores a file?
So simply put, CAS is the ability to find a piece of information based on what it is, on its content.
Not based on where it is.
Okay, so not its location.
Exactly. Traditional storage, like a URL on the internet or a file path on your computer.
That's all location addressed. It points to a specific spot on a specific server in a specific data center, like US East1.
Right, and that creates this dependency. If the server moves or the folder name changes, the link breaks.
That's link rot, right?
That's link rot. And in that old system, if you have the exact same photo stored in 2 different folders, it has 2 completely different addresses.
It's incredibly inefficient. So how does Khalees solve this?
How does it find something just by its content?
It uses something called cryptographic hash functions.
You take the file, all the actual ones and zeros that make it up,
And you run it through a hash function like SA256.
and that function spits out a unique string of characters.
A unique fixed length key. It's often called the content address or its fingerprint.
And this key, this fingerprint, is intrinsically tied to the content.
What do you mean by intrinsically tied?
I mean, if you change a single bit of that file1 pixel in an image, a comma in a document,
The hash function will produce a completely different key.
a totally new fingerprint.
Ah, I see. So this gives you some really powerful guarantees.
2 huge benefits that centralized systems just can't match. First is efficiency.
Because you're not storing duplicates.
Right. If you try to store the same file again, the system generates the exact same content address.
It sees it already has it and just, adds a pointer instead of storing the whole thing again.
It's called deduplication.
And the second benefit, which is the really big one for Web3, is integrity, verifiability.
Yes. If you request a file using its content address, you are mathematically guaranteed to get the exact unaltered file that was used to create that address in the first place.
If anyone tampered with it, the hash would be different and the lookup would fail.
It's immutable assurance. Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, we're definitely diving in deep, but Crypto Steve-O seems a little bit surprised. He says, "Who wrote the script? LOL. Are you guys reading a script?" So he's not sure what's going on. I think he's going to go grab some coffee.
Hey, Crypto Devo, that is a fantastic question. Welcome.
And we totally understand the confusion, especially with how dense this topic is.
So we're actually not reading a script to say.
We use an extremely detailed outline that we prepare with all the sources and facts.
We call it a transcript, and we've been rewriting it live based on your questions.
We know we have to cover proof of space-time and Filecoin's verified clients, for example.
But the exact phrasing and the conversational flow, that's all us in real time.
We're taking that dense technical material and translating it on the fly.
And we actually love that it sounds like a script.
That means we're achieving that goal of explaining complex ideas clearly.
We are just very prepared podcast hosts.
We appreciate the question, Crypto's Debo.
We hope you enjoy that coffee and stick around because here's where it gets really interesting.
So getting back to the idea of integrity and verifiability.
That's the power of the content address we were just talking about, that mathematical assurance.
Exactly. The system guarantees that the content you requested is unaltered.
So this content addressable storage idea isn't new then,
No, not at all. CAS systems were huge back in the 2000s.
especially for things like regulatory compliance where companies needed proof.
They needed to prove they were storing massive archives of documents without minimal edits.
And it's the same principle behind developer tools like Git or even BitTorrent.
Right. They all use content addressing to make sure the pieces of data you're getting are the exact pieces you're supposed to be getting.
Without needing a central server to check everything, the location is totally abstracted away.
Got it. Okay, so now that we understand content addressable storage, let's talk about why it's so necessary for Web3.
Why can't we just, store everything on Ethereum?
That is the multi-million-dollar gas fee question.
Yeah, right.
Layer 1 blockchains like Ethereum, they just aren't built for storing large amounts of data.
They're built for computation and sequencing transactions, not for data firehouses.
Storing a high-res image or a video file directly on-chain it's outrageously expensive.
Give me a sense of that scale. How expensive are we talking?
It varies with network congestion, but historically, storing just 1 megabyte of data could cost you hundreds.
Potentially thousands of dollars in gas fees. Whoa.
Yeah, because every single node in the entire global network has to store and validate that data forever.
It's just not practical for anything other than tiny bits of data.
So that brings us back to the original problem we started with. If you can't store it on chain and you store it on AWS S3,
Then your super decentralized app isn't really decentralized at all.
you've got it. Your DApp is only as decentralized as its most centralized part.
If the server holding your NFT's artwork can get a subpoena or just get turned out because of a generator failure in Oregon.
The whole promise of Web3 just falls apart.
So DSNs, these decentralized storage networks, they solve this by creating a content addressable network at internet scale.
They provide that distributed hash table functionality across thousands of nodes all over the world.
The physical location of a file can change constantly. Nodes can join or leave the network.
But because you're asking for the file by its content hash, you can always find it.
It's the infrastructure that makes things like ZK rollups or smart wallets truly censorship resistant.
Exactly. The computation is trust minimized, so the data it points to has to be as well.
Okay, this makes a lot of sense. So let's get into the major players who are actually building this.
We're going to talk about IPFS, Filecoin, and Arweave. Let's start with IPFS.
Oh, back to our listener. What's up?
Yeah, it's Dave Digital again. Great. So before we get into the major players, I do want to say hi to Army Piper. I talked to Army Piper on the telephone this week, and it was just like talking to an old friend. So I really appreciate him. Army Piper is the founder of the Piper Network, and he goes live every morning, I think at 10 my time, maybe 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure, but right after Alex Ode Crypto. So say hi to him and then continue where you left off.
Good call, Dave Digital. We should definitely acknowledge everyone here.
And a huge welcome to Army Piper. That's wonderful you two connected.
It sounds like he's a fantastic community builder.
We appreciate all the hard work that folks like him put in.
And we are ready to dive into the major players now.
We were just setting the stage talking about why you can't just store large data on Ethereum.
Right, and how content addressable storage provides that verifiability we need.
So let's start with IPFS, the Interplanetary File System.
This is really the foundational protocol that a lot of these systems gone on.
But the key thing to understand is that IPFS is a protocol, not a storage network.
Okay, what's the difference between a protocol and a network here?
The protocol defines the rules. It says how data should be addressed with content hashes.
How the data is broken into chunks and how peers can find and request it.
So it's the addressing and distribution layer, like get under the hood.
Precisely. But, and this is the crucial part, it doesn't on its own guarantee that the data will stick around.
There's no built-in economic incentive for anyone to store your data.
So if I put a file on IPFS from my laptop and then I turn my laptop off.
The file is gone from the network unless someone else voluntarily decided to download and pin it.
So it relies on either centralized pinning services or an incentive lay to guarantee persistence.
Exactly. And that brings us directly to Filecoin.
The economic layer on top of IPFS.
That's the perfect way to describe it. Filecoin's entire purpose is to create a verifiable marketplace for storage.
It uses crypto economics to pay storage providers to store data.
And more importantly, to constantly prove that they are still storing it.
Okay, so how do they prove it? This seems like a hard problem to solve.
It is. They use some really clever cryptography.
The first is called proof of replication, or PAR-rep.
This forces a storage provider to prove they've created a unique, physically distinct copy of the data.
So they can't just cheat by claiming they're storing it for 10 different customers with one copy.
Exactly. It prevents that kind of Sybil or deduplication fraud.
And then the second proof is called proof of spacetime, or POST.
Proof of spacetime. Those names are great.
They are, right? This one requires the provider to periodically and randomly prove they continuously hold the data.
Over the entire duration of the storage deal.
If they miss a check, they get penalized. Their stake collateral gets slashed.
So there's a real financial penalty for not holding up your end of the bargain.
A very strong one. But then Filecoin ran into another problem.
How do you incentivize people to store useful data, not just encrypted garbage?
Right. How do you filter for quality?
Their solution is a system of verified clients.
These clients get a special allocation of tokens called data cap.
This data cap is granted by community-vetted allocators who vouch for the data's utility.
And this is where the big economic incentive comes in.
A huge one. If a storage provider makes a deal to store data from a verified client,
They get a 10x multiplier on their storage power,
10 times.
which dramatically increases their chances of earning block rewards.
So there's this massive incentive to seek out and store valuable data.
I have to jump in here because this sounds like it could reintroduce a central point of control.
If a small group of allocators decides what data is useful and gets the 10x reward boost,
Aren't they just becoming the new gatekeepers?
that is the fundamental critique, and it's a valid one. It is a vector for centralization.
The Filecoin community is very aware of this, and they're trying to balance the need to filter junk.
With the risk of creating these powerful gatekeepers.
The long-term goal is to decentralize the allocator role itself.
It's that classic decentralization trilemma at work.
It is, and the network is evolving. It's not just about storage anymore.
Now there's a huge focus on the retrieval market.
Because storing data is great, but you also need to be able to get it back quickly.
For things like loading a damp front end or an NFT image.
Exactly. So the retrieval market rewards providers for high bandwidth, low latency connections,
And they've also introduced the Filecoin virtual machine, the FVM.
which lets you run smart contracts directly on the stored data
Yes. So you can build data-driven DAOs and other applications right on Filecoin.
without needing another blockchain like Ethereum to handle the logic.
It's becoming a full self-contained data stack.
Okay, so that's Filecoin, a market-driven approach based on continuous payments and proofs.
Now let's shift gears completely.
Oh, yeah,
Right before you shift gears completely, I just want to remind the chat, because we have several questions already in the chat. I want you to remind the chat that so that you guys are able to stay on course, I'm saving all the questions until we get through the presentation, and then I'm going to ask every question that I see that is obviously relative to what you guys are talking about, but I am not missing those questions. I'm starring them as I see them. I do see it going back and forth, but since there's a lot, I am waiting for you guys to get through your presentation. That way I don't get you off track. That way we cover everything that you want to cover before we get into the questions. Okay? Oh, and I want you to say hi to, oh,
that is a phenomenal plan, Dave Digital.
Seriously, that is perfect. Thank you for collecting those.
And yes, chat, please keep those questions coming.
We absolutely love the interaction.
Dave Digital is right. We want to make sure we cover all the necessary ground first.
We have some really juicy stuff coming up on Arweave.
And we promise we will come back to those questions.
We're going to dive into the whole ecosystem around permanence.
So we were just wrapping up our discussion on Filecoin.
That market-driven approach based on those continuous payments.
Proof. Oh, yeah,
yeah, one more thing as we're wrapping up our discussion on Filecoin and then going into your next topic, which sounds like permanence or something like that. I do want to say hi to TexMex Biomex, who is right here or is on the team right here at Billy Goat Tales. That's our parent network. And I also want to say hi to JR, who has joined us this morning. And then I want you guys to continue exactly where you left off.
Good morning, Dave Digital, and a huge shout out.
Welcome to TexMex Biomex.
It's fantastic to have someone from the Billy Goat Tales team here.
And a big welcome to JR. We're glad you joined us this morning.
Thank you for the introductions. We're on it.
We were just about to shift gears completely.
Right, transitioning from Filecoin's continuous payments model
to Arweave, which is optimized for one thing only.
permanent storage. It's much bolder, the pay once, store forever model.
That's the tagline. The model is built on something called the storage endowment,
You pay a single one-time upfront fee when you upload data.
in the AR token, of course.
How does that work financially? It sounds impossible.
It is a massive long-term economic bet
It's a bet on technological deflation.
that the cost of storage always goes down, radically down.
The fee you pay goes into this endowment pool
The model is based on the historical trend,
that the cost of storing a gigabyte has dropped.
on average, by over 30% every single year.
So the idea is the initial payment plus interest.
Will cover the ever-decreasing costs, potentially for 200 years.
That's the bet. And it's a huge one.
If that trend of deflation slows down or reverses,
The endowment could theoretically run dry.
that seems like a pretty significant risk to build a whole system on.
It is the fundamental risk. But the system is designed to be dynamic.
As the real-world cost of storage falls, the upfront AR fee also falls.
So the pool is always trying to maintain its long-term solvency.
Okay, so what about the tech? Arweave uses a block weave.
Right, not a standard linear blockchain.
A normal blockchain is linear. Each block points to the one before it,
In the block weave, each new block points to the previous block.
but also to another randomly selected block from the past.
That's called the recall block. Why do that?
It enables their consensus mechanism, proof of access.
To mine a new block, a miner has to prove they have access to that random recall block.
So if you only store half of all the data on the network,
You only have a 50% chance being able to mine the next block.
your profitability as a miner is directly tied to how much of the total data set you are storing,
That's clever. It creates a purely selfish incentive for every miner to store everything.
which is what gives Arweave its resilience and its claim to permanence.
And then for speed, they have another mechanism called Wildfire.
Wildfire. It's basically a reputation system for nodes.
It's a game adapted from the old tit-for-tat algorithm from BitTorrent.
I love that. The DNA of these old P2P systems is still powering the new ones.
It's a testament to good design. In Wildfire, every node ranks its peers.
Based on how fast they share new data.
If you want your new transaction or block to spread across the network quickly,
You share it with your highest ranked, fastest peers first.
and if you're a slow or selfish node, you get pushed to the back of the line.
Your rank drops, your data spreads slower, and you become less profitable.
It's a strong incentive to be a good, fast network citizen.
Okay, so we have the base layer. Arweave provides this guarantee of permanent storage.
But accessing that data directly from the protocol, it's not very user-friendly.
Not all. The raw protocol lacks indexing or human-readable names.
You just have these long, complicated transaction IDs.
Right. And for a long time, the ecosystem has relied on one main community gateway.
That was Arweave.net to handle all of that.
But that's, well, a single point of failure again.
Exactly. It puts us right back where we started, like that AWS DNS issue.
Which is the problem the ARIO network is trying to solve.
The goal is to create a decentralized network of gateways.
These are the permanent cloud service providers.
So instead of one front door to the permaweb, there are many.
Many front doors, all committing on performance and reliability. These gateways handle all the heavy lifting, uploads, indexing, and resolving domain name. And to make sure these gateway operators are serious, there's a staking mechanism.
A very serious one. To join the network, an operator has to stake.
A minimum of 10,000 ARIO tokens.
And that stake is locked for a minimum of 90 days.
90 days. That's a real commitment to the health of the network.
You're signaling a long-term investment.
And they also have delegated staking.
So smaller token holders can delegate their stake and earn a share of rewards.
So how do you keep all these independent gateways honest and performing well?
Through something called the observation protocol. It runs in daily cycles, or epochs.
Each day, a random group of up to 50 gateways are chosen to be observers.
And their job is to police the rest of the network's performance.
Their selection is random, but weighted by their stake and past performance.
So the most trusted gateways are the most likely to be chosen as observers.
And what are they observing specifically?
They're testing the other gateways. They try to resolve a random set of names.
And check things like the response time and the data's correctness.
They submit a simple pass or fail score.
Right, and the rewards follow that. 90% of the daily rewards go to the functional gateways.
And 10% goes to the observers for doing the work of policing.
And if you're marked as deficient for 30 days straight,
There has to be a penalty.
a huge one, you're automatically kicked off.
And your 10,000 token stake is slashed. 100% of it. Gone. Wow.
Okay, so the incentives to perform are incredibly strong.
They have to be. It's a trust minimized system.
So let's talk about the user-facing side of this. The Arweave name system. RNS.
This is how you get away from those long, ugly transaction IDs.
Correct. RNS gives you censorship-resistant, human-friendly domain names.
And the entire registry of these names is permanently stored on Arweave.
And it's managed by the AO decentralized computer.
How does ownership work?
When you register a name, you emit an Arweave name token, or an ANT.
This token is a smart contract that holds a pointer to a specific content hash on Arweave.
The AR.io gateways then resolve that name. Oh, yeah.
Definitely don't lose your spot, but a question came up and it looks pretty timely. I don't think Steve-O understood exactly what you were saying there. He said, did you say AirEO tokens? What did you say?
That is a perfect question, Dave Digital. And hi, Steve-O.
Welcome, Steve-O. We're glad you asked for clarification.
Yes, what you heard was ARIO tokens.
That's ARIO tokens. They are the native token.
Of the ARIO network we're discussing now.
The ones that gateway operators have to stake.
Exactly. We mentioned that they must stake at least 10,000 ARIO tokens.
That's their skin in the game, their commitment.
This staking...
Yeah.
Is that Arrow token or I'm not sure where I understand. Oh, it's AR.io. Is that correct? AR.io tokens. That's the staking token.
Yes, ARIO tokens, that is absolutely correct.
Think of it as R.io, like Arweave input-output.
It is the multi-function token that powers this entire ARIO network.
And you are right, it is the staking token.
Operators must stake it to join the network.
And that staking is the public pledge to maintain the network's collective interests.
This token is absolutely key to the whole incentive mechanism.
Because rewards are paid out in ARIO to the functional gateways and the observers.
And if they fail, that ARIO stake is slashed, as we just discussed earlier.
It acts as both a strong motivator and a penalty mechanism.
And ARIO is also used in delegated staking.
So smaller token holders can delegate their stake.
This allows them to participate in the risk and rewards of being a gateway.
Without having to run a full gateway themselves.
And there's also that cool utility we were about to talk about.
You can actually use your staked ARIO tokens
to pay for services within the Arweave name system, or RNS.
You can use it like currency for purchasing names or extending leases.
It's all designed to be a non-inflationary token too.
Meaning the staking is about eligibility for rewards, not direct yield.
So yes, ARIO tokens, the lifeblood of the AR.io network.
Thank you for asking for that clarification.
We were just talking about the Arweave name tokens, or ANTs.
And how AR.io gateways resolve those names.
The gateways then resolve that name, like Rdrive, to its content.
Through their own subdomain, something like rdrive.ro-io.dev.
And there's flexibility in how you own a name. You can lease it or buy it outright.
Exactly. You can lease it for up to 5 years to prevent name squatting.
Or you can perma-buy it for an indefinite period.
There's also a really interesting pricing model that doesn't use external price oracles.
Yeah, the dynamic pricing model, it adjusts the price based on internal network revenue.
If the protocol is making more money from name purchases, the price to register a name goes up.
If revenue is down, the price goes down. It keeps the price tied to actual demand.
It's all self-contained within the network. All self-contained.
Okay, so we have permanent storage with Arweave and a decentralized access layer with AR.io gateways.
The third pillar that ties it all together is the compute layer, AO. Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Sure, right. Keep your spot right before you jump into the compute layer. Can you give us the ticker on the staking coin? Steve-O, I think he wants to look it up. We wanted to make sure that you guys are giving us correct information, and we need to fact check you in real time.
That is a phenomenal question for fact checking.
Welcome back, Steve-O, and that is a great thing to look at.
The ticker for the staking coin, the ARIO token,
is actually just ARO. That's ARIO.
It's the native token of the AR.io network.
And as we've talked about, it is used for all the staking.
And for all the rewards and penalties.
It's the lifeblood of this entire decentralized gateway system.
Thanks for asking, and please let us know what you find out.
That's the beauty of live streaming and decentralized information.
You can fact check us in real time.
Okay, let's keep our spot. We were just setting up the final piece.
The third pill that ties permanent storage and decentralized access together.
The compute layer, AO.
Yes, AO is the decentralized supercomputer built on Arweave.
It's what allows the storage to become active and dynamic.
The entire RNS registry and the AR.io smart contract, they run as processes on AO.
What makes AO different from a traditional blockchain like Ethereum?
It has a totally different architecture.
It uses message passing for massive parallel processing,
Think of it less like a single global computer.
and more like millions of tiny computers all talking to each other at once.
And every single message, every computation is permanently logged on Arweave.
So you have a completely auditable, permanent history of all computation
Exactly. You can perfectly reconstruct the state of any application.
just by replaying the messages that went into it.
It's a completely different paradigm for computing.
So let's bring this all together. How would this full stack work for something like NFT minting?
Okay, so for an NFT to be truly permanent, the art itself has to be stored on a DSN like Arweave.
The NFT on the blockchain then just holds the pointer, that immutable content hash, to the art.
So if the NFT points to an AWS link, the art could be changed or deleted.
But if it points to an Arweave hash, it's guaranteed to be the same art forever.
For as long as the Arweave network exists, yes.
And for something more complex, like a decentralized social media platform,
You need both permanence and speed.
the posts are stored on Arweave forever.
But the ARIO gateways running on that area staking system,
They provide the fast indexing you need to load a feed instantly.
okay, but we have to talk about the trade-offs here.
The perma-web sounds dangerous, especially regarding censorship.
This is the most critical and nuanced part of the whole system.
At the base protocol level, the network is extremely censorship resistant.
But it's not a free-for-all.
The system allows for decentralized content policies.
Exactly. Individual miners on Arweave can choose which transactions they are willing to include.
Meaning the individual operators can still make choices about what they store.
And more importantly, the AR.io gateway operators all have their own content policies.
They choose what content they are willing to index and serve to their users.
Ah, so the power of moderation shifts from a single company.
To the user's choice of gateway.
Precisely. The underlying data might exist, but you choose your window onto the perma-web.
You can pick a gateway that filters content according to your own values.
It creates a market for moderation rather than a monopoly.
That's a fascinating solution.
But what about the other side of permanence?
That brick name problem you mentioned.
Yes, this is the harsh reality of self-custody and immutable systems.
If you perma-buy an ARN's name and you lose the private key to the ANT token that controls it,
That's it, the name is bricked.
you can't change what it points to. You can't sell it. It's just frozen.
Frozen in time forever. It's a stark reminder of the immense personal responsibility.
That comes with this technology.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone from the fragility of a 4-minute battery in an Oregon data center.
All the way to the economics and ethics of permanent decentralized data.
And the takeaway is pretty clear.
Decentralized file storage isn't just a nice to have for Web3,
It is the indispensable third pillar.
right alongside decentralized settlement on L1s and L2s.
And decentralized compute with AO. Without it, the whole stack is built on sand.
It's the missing link. It provides the data availability, the integrity through content addressing.
And resistance to link rot.
And what really stands out is that it's not just a technical solution.
It's this beautiful blend of tech and economics.
Wildfire staking the Aereo token, which we just clarified.
Yes, that Aereo token is essential, and the endowment all designed to incentivize good, resilient behavior.
And it creates this system of verifiable data provenance.
Every piece of data is signed by a wallet.
So you can trace any fact or piece of content back to the identity that first asserted it.
And don't forget, we also stream Simple Terms live every Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
All right, perfect. Thank you for getting through that. And you guys did an amazing job. You really did break down things to where we can understand them. But let's get into the questions. We have several. First, I want to start with Andi's original message that got all of this started, and a couple of her questions. She says, thank you. Honestly, if you're really feeling the love, you could do a data storage compared. I'm leaning towards Arweave again, but I don't know if there's anything new out there. I read the white paper, and it fit a lot of the buzzwords I believe be circled around data storage, as well as many exchange listings digging deeper. So she says, also down here, she has a question. When is Coinbase? She understands that Coinbase Ventures and Coinbase are separate, but what is the freaking holdup with the Coinbase listing? And also, how can they guarantee permanent storage? So let's start there.
Thank you so much, Dave Digital.
And thank you, Andi, for these incredible questions.
You are hitting the most critical points.
And you were right. That original message was the inspiration for the whole show.
Let's start with the comparison and that final question about permanence.
It's the core of Arweave's value proposition.
How can they guarantee permanent storage?
We talked about the storage endowment.
That is the financial mechanism, the economic bet.
You pay the one-time upfront fee in AR.
That money goes into a large pool, earning interest.
The expectation is that the cost of storing data will decline by about 30% every year.
So the initial fee plus the interest should cover the costs.
For they project over 200 years.
The permanence is not a guarantee of the network existing forever.
It's a guarantee that the data can be stored.
The Arweave yellow paper suggests that after the financial incentives end, the social incentives will take over.
Because the accumulated data will be so cheap to maintain.
So the guarantee is based on technological deflation and human nature.
Andy also asked about Filecoin versus Arweave.
That's the key comparison. Filecoin is a market-driven utility.
It's excellent for mutable data where you need to change files.
You make storage deals and you pay for a fixed period.
It's like decentralized AWS, but with proofs of storage.
Arweave is for immutable data, things that never change.
Like NFT art, legal documents, or permanent websites.
Pay once, store forever. Two different tools for different jobs.
Filecoin is about ongoing verifiability and market efficiency.
Arweave is about creating an ever-expanding permanent archive.
The choice depends entirely on the data's intended lifespan.
Now, regarding the Coinbase listing question,
We understand the frustration. It's a common thread in the community.
we can't speak for Coinbase's listing decisions.
But we know that Coinbase Ventures is separate from the exchange.
It's true that ventures often invest early in protocols,
But the exchange listing process involves numerous other factors.
like regulatory compliance, liquidity, and security audits.
It's never as simple as just having a partnership.
It's a much slower process than people anticipate.
We'll have to leave the hold up to the exchange itself.
But those are fantastic questions. Thank you for submitting them.
They really brought together the economic, ethical angles.
So we were just wrapping up before this great question set. Oh, go for it.
Oh, no, we're not wrapping it up yet. We've got several questions. Let me see here. I think Andy, she wants to know. Okay, the last thing. It's been a while since.
We love hearing that. Yep, go on.
She said it's been a while since the recent white paper. Token economics are not transparent. I love the narrative and the lack of competition in the space, but there's something hinky about this protocol that I can't figure out. So basically, the question is, with all the new people coming in the next cycle, realize there's some sort of hinkiness. Will all of the people in the next cycle realize there's some sort of hinkiness?
We absolutely love the commitment to fact checking.
And that is an insightful question about token transparency.
Andy is hitting on a really nuanced point,
You're right. The term kinky really describes that feeling of complexity.
especially in these newer decentralized models.
Let's address the token economics of AR.io and
Oh, go for it.
Maybe I read the question wrong. She says she loves the narrative and lack of competition in the space, but there's something hinky about this protocol that I can't figure out. It means there's something strange going on. So basically the question is, will the new people coming into the cycle realize there's something strange going on or some kind of hinkiness?
Thank you for the correction, Dave Digital.
hinky, yes, that makes more sense in this context.
Something strange or slightly suspicious.
That feeling is precisely what we should address.
And Andy is absolutely right to feel that way.
These systems are complex, and complexity can breed suspicion.
Will new people realize there's something strange going on?
Well, the complexity itself is the strangeness, the think.
It comes from the necessity of trust minimization.
Let's focus on the token economics of AR.io and transparency.
The AR.io white paper is actually very detailed.
It outlines the entire token unlock schedule, for example.
We're talking 6 full years, months 0 to 72,
They specify how many tokens are locked for contributors.
and how many are allocated for the foundation and ecosystem.
They've actually modified those unlock schedules recently.
To clarify withdrawal requirements for stakers too.
The intention is transparency on the supply side.
But the hinky feeling often comes from the dynamic pricing.
That's the part that is not transparent in the traditional sense.
It's the dynamic pricing modi for ARN's names.
The price changes based on the internal protocol revenue.
It goes up if revenue is high and down if it's low.
It's a self-contained system.
It's dynamic and designed to prevent external manipulation.
But that means the price isn't predictable in a linear way.
The whole system is designed to be trust minimized, not entirely simple,
And that includes the intentionally harsh penalties.
like the slashing of the ALEO stake we talked about earlier.
The penalty for bad gateway behavior is severe.
It's 100% of that 10,000 AREO stake gone.
That's the think. It's intentionally harsh to ensure performance.
It's all about balancing that self-governance with strong financial control.
It is the ultimate expression of trust minimization.
You don't need to trust the company, just the math and the penalty.
So the hink is by design.
And now let's get to that final question you had from Andy.
About the AR.io network perks for gateway operators.
The one about the gateway operator discount.
If a gateway operator meets certain requirements
They get a 20% discount on new RNS name registrations.
and on lease extensions for those names,
This is a direct incentive to be a good, fast network citizen.
it's rewarding the people who run the infrastructure,
It also encourages adoption of the Arweave name system, RNS.
which is key for making the permaweb user-friendly.
So that's one more perk of running a functional gateway.
This whole discussion about incentive.
And the economics of
Hey, yeah, what's up?
Man, thank you for answering that question for Andy. She's definitely at work right now. She started at 8 o'clock this morning, but she has been tuning in between haircuts. I definitely want to say hi, a great big welcome to Crypto Billy, who has joined the chat. And you know him as the founder of the Billy Goat Tales Network. Welcome to him. And we also have Infinite Team TA in the chat. If you'll say hi to those folks, I will get the next questions prepared for you.
We're so glad we could answer those questions for Andy.
That is dedication, listening between haircuts.
And a huge welcome to Crypto Billy.
As the founder of the Billy Goat Tales Network, we are honored.
Welcome, Crypto Billy. Thanks for tuning in.
And a big shout out to Infinite Team TA in the chat.
We love seeing the community leaders here.
We truly appreciate everyone joining us live today.
The interaction has been fantastic.
This whole discussion about incentives.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
Perfect. Okay, so now we have 12 starred comments or questions. It won't take very long to get through these, but I want to address each and every one very specifically. I want you to give detailed answers so that they understand and they feel like their questions have been answered. There may be follow-up questions, so I will interrupt periodically. First, Crypto Stevo says, is the problem with AWS storage or is it a problem with naming services? If the problem is storage, Filecoin and Arweave are the crypto protocols we should be talking about. But if that's not the problem, we should be talking about ICP.
And thank you for setting the stage, Dave Digital.
Wow, 12 starred questions. We are ready.
And that question from Crypto Stevo is absolutely brilliant.
It cuts right to the heart of what we've been discussing.
Is the problem storage or is it naming services like DNS?
The problem is it's both. They are interconnected problems.
When we talked about the AWS outage, that specific one was DNS.
It was a failure in the domain name system resolution.
So that's why we focused on AR.io and Arnis.
The Arweave name system provides a decentralized DNS alternative.
It's censorship resistant, human friendly names.
Where the entire registry is permanently stored on Arweave.
But the Cloudflare outage was a storage and reliability problem.
It was a FISD failure generators, batteries in an Oregon data center.
That took down the actual stored data.
That's why Filecoin and Arweave are necessary.
They decentralized the storage itself.
So we need DSNs like Filecoin and Arweave for the data.
And then protocols like AR.io for the decentralized naming service.
Because if your decentralized data can only be found via centralized DNS,
you still have a single point of failure.
Now, ICP, the Internet Computer Protocol,
that's an interesting comparison.
It tries to be an entire decentralized computing platform. It tries to handle computation, storage, and naming all together.
So it's aiming for a single comprehensive solution.
Whereas the Web3 stack we discussed is modular.
It separates the settlement layer, L2s, and storage.
ICP's approach is to put everything, including the data, on chain.
Which is very different from the Filecoin Arweave model,
where they rely on content addressing to keep the heavy data off chain.
It's a fundamental architectural difference.
So Crypto Stevo, you're right. It depends on which failure you prioritize.
We need both storage resilience and naming resilience.
And Filecoin and Arweave address the storage availability.
Well, AI.io is tackling that DNS fragility.
Okay, that was a fantastic question.
We are ready for the next one, Dave Digital.
We stream Sybil Terms live every Saturday at 9 a.m. EST.
Over on the Billy Goat Tales YouTube.
Oh, back to our listener. What's up?
Yeah, hold those kind plugs until the end. We definitely still have a few more questions. That was a great answer. I appreciate you. JC Crypto Man wants to know, so wild, or he says, so wild you're covering IPFS. I was just turning my nephew onto Filecoin yesterday, so we appreciate that. And then Steve O says, again, I'm not a bag holder, but in theory, ICP solves all of this. From my understanding, Filecoin is expensive for clients, way more expensive than any other decentralized storage project.
Dave Digital, excellent point on saving the plugs.
Thanks for keeping us honest, and we love the feedback.
Huge shout out to JC and Crypto Man.
That's awesome. You're talking about IPFS and Filecoin with your nephew.
That is exactly what we want to hear.
And Steve-O, you were asking a next level question.
That ICP question is fundamentally about architecture.
ICP does try to solve everything in one system,
Storage, compute, and naming are all in their protocol.
but the Filecoin approach is modular, right?
It allows other L1s and L2s to integrate storage.
Your point about Filecoin client cost is also valid.
Storage on Filecoin is set by market pricing.
It's determined by open competition among providers,
So it can be volatile, and yes, it can be pricey.
especially compared to some cheap Web 2 options.
But that price includes cryptographic accountability.
That mathematical proof that your data is stored.
You're paying for verifiable security, not just space.
Also, remember, Filecoin has verified clients.
They get that data cap allocation for low-cost storage.
That's to incentivize the storage of useful data.
So while the open market may be expensive,
There are specialized incentives to lower costs. ICP and Filecoin are tackling the same problem.
but with completely different economic models.
We appreciate the critical thinking, Steve-O.
We are ready for your next questions now.
We love answering questions and clarifying concepts.
Thank you so much for joining us for the deep dive. Oh, yeah,
No, wrap it up just yet. We're going to wrap it up here in a little while. I'll give you special instructions for that. But Army Piper, the founder of the Piper Network and the Piper Academy, he has his Piper DCA plan that you can join for just $4.99. That price is only a price there to keep out the scammers. But he says, I'm willing to bet that cloud storage by some major players run cheaper than blockchain storage.
we definitely won't wrap up yet, Dave Digital.
Thank you for the update on the schedule.
And a big shout out again to Army Piper.
The DCA plan sounds like a fantastic tool.
And Army Piper's point is absolutely correct.
He is willing to bet that cloud storage runs cheaper.
Yes, and that is a certainty today.
Cloud storage from major players is almost always cheaper.
Remember what we said about that trade-off?
Web 2 cloud storage is scalable and cheap.
But it is centralized and fragile
Filecoin and Arweave are more expensive because you are paying.
for cryptographic accountability.
And censorship resistance.
You're paying to not have a single point of failure.
You're paying for verifiable security, not just raw space.
And Arweave is an economic bet on the future.
You pay a single upfront fee for 200 years of storage.
You are buying a permanent, immutable record.
That one-time cost has to be high enough to cover the expense.
Even with that guaranteed future deflation of storage costs,
So yes, if your only metric is the cheapest price per gigabyte,
then centralized Web 2 will win today.
but if your metric is security, permanence, and verifiability,
Then the DSNs are the only option.
we truly appreciate that critical insight.
Oh, yeah,
Perfect. And then Crypto Stevo had a comment. He said he thinks, and just some backstory. Crypto Stevo said that he bought a big bag of Arweave a long time ago, and it's down pretty big. But then he says, I think Arweave's problem is marketing. I follow them on X and very rarely see them posting. Their wallet sucks too. What do you have to say about that?
Welcome back to Crypto's Divi.
We appreciate you sharing your experience.
And we totally understand that frustration.
When you invest early and the price action isn't there,
You start looking for the reasons why.
your point about marketing is incredibly insightful.
Because DSNs are not inherently exciting.
They are infrastructure. They are plumbing.
We're talking about proofs of space and space time.
That's a harder sell than a fun DeFi product.
Or a meme coin, for sure.
Arweave's problem is absolutely about making the tech relatable.
How do you market permanent digital history?
It's a huge abstract promise.
And you are right about the early adopters.
When protocols are in their infancy, the community can be small.
And sometimes, yes, the early visuals and wallet addresses.
It doesn't look as professional as a billion-dollar Web 2 company.
That's the trade-off of open decentralized development.
But the value isn't in the X feed.
The value is in the underlying cryptographic guarantees.
And the fact that we're even having this conversation,
means the concept is getting the attention it deserves.
that's the organic marketing of solving a real problem.
Army Piper.
Your point about the trade-offs is crucial.
It's always about balancing cost and risk.
We want to thank all of our listeners today.
Especially
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, Army Piper probably really loved how you said his name, Army Piper. But the next question from Tex-Mex Biomex, Tony from the Billy Goat Tales team says, can people use Filecoin now or potentially in the future, kind of like they'll use Google Drive? Will it be available to consumers to create their own personal file storage solution?
That is a wonderful question, Dave Digital.
And welcome back, Tex-Mex by Mix Tony.
That's a great question about user experience.
Can people use Filecoin like Google Drive right now?
Not directly, not without an intermediary.
Filecoin is the back-end infrastructure,
It's the verifiable market for storage providers.
but the average person needs a user-friendly app.
Think of services like Panada, FileBase, or Storacha.
They use the IPFS and Filecoin networks underneath.
They act as the easy-to-use, centralized-looking interface.
You upload your file, and they handle the deal making.
And the pinning on the Filecoin network for you,
So yes, decentralized storage is available to consumers,
but often through a user-friendly front end.
that makes the cryptographic magic invisible.
The problem you hit on is UX, user experience.
CIDs, those content addresses, are not user-friendly.
And setting up a storage deal can be complex.
So these third-party pinning services solve that UX problem.
They are the on-ramp for the consumer.
So in the future, yes, there will be apps.
That feel just like Google.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering that. And then we have a comment from JC. He said, no sweat, Biomex and Steve. File storage protocols will have their day. I see it as an incredible opportunity to scale in. And then Crypto Stevo says later in the chat, he says, which has a better tech? Which is a better investment? So he has two questions. Which has better tech? Which is the better investment? That's a harder question to answer. I think Arweave is better, cheaper tech, but Filecoin has legacy and easy to buy for all.
We appreciate those comments so much.
Huge shout out to JC and Stevo for these insights.
JC is right. These protocols will absolutely have their day.
And that second question from Stevo is the million-dollar question.
Which has better tech, Filecoin or Arweave?
And which is the better investment?
You've highlighted the core and trade-off perfectly.
Arweave's tech with its block wave and proof of access.
That's incredibly elegant for achieving permanence.
It's the pay once, store forever model.
That requires that long-term economic bet.
Filecoin, on the other hand, has the proof of space-time.
And proof of replication, all of that clever cryptography.
It's designed for market efficiency and verifiable utility.
So better tech depends entirely on the use case.
Arweave is better tech for creating a permanent archive.
Filecoin is better tech for a dynamic, market-driven storage solution.
That's for investment. We can't give financial advice.
But you pointed out a key factor: accessibility.
Filecoin has more legacy and is often easier to acquire.
But Arweave is building a deeper, full-stack ecosystem.
With AO for compute and AR.io for decentralized access,
There are two different bets on the future of storage.
one on the permanence of data, the other on the marketplace.
The gaps we were talking about, those user-friendly interfaces,
That feel just like Google Drive or Dropbox.
those will likely use both protocols underneath.
They'll use Arweave for the permanent assets.
And Filecoin.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Still going through the questions. They keep coming in. Well, Stevo had a comment. He said the chart is atrocious, down 88% since TGE. And then he also says, what is the incentive for a huge company like AWS to actually pay for decentralized storage? And if they do they have to buy the token or pay in fiat cash?
Those are two incredibly powerful points from Stevo.
Thank you, Dave Digital, for keeping those questions coming.
Let's address the price chart first.
We understand the frustration with a token being down,
That 88% drop since the token generation event is rough.
but the volatility reflects the early stage of this infrastructure.
This is a long-term infrastructure play.
It's not a quick speculative asset,
The value is in the network's adoption and utility.
not the short-term price movements.
Now, onto the huge question about AWS.
What's the incentive for them to use decentralized storage?
That's a fascinating, almost existential question for them.
They are the centralization we are trying to decentralize away from.
But the incentive would be risk mitigation.
Remember those outages in USES1 and Cloudflare?
They hurt their reputation and their customers.
AWS could potentially use DSNs to back up.
Or archive their own most critical data.
They would be using it to prove resilience to their clients.
Regarding payment, it's flexible.
Most DSMs, like Filecoin, require payment in their native token.
But there are on-ramps.
They could pay in fiat cash to a third-party service
That service then converts the fiat to the required token,
and handles the storage deal for them.
just like those user-friendly interfaces we discuss.
The technical requirement is the token.
But the business transaction can be in fiat.
We truly appreciate that insightful comparison. Oh yeah, go on.
All right, it looks like we have the last two comments. And then what I want you guys to do is everybody that we have said hi to in the chat, I want you to go back and wish them goodbye, tell them to have a great week. And then I want you to tell each one of them something very funny specifically. So for each person, I would like for you to say goodbye to them and then tell them something funny as they go into their week. But here are the last two comments I would like for you to address first before you say goodbye to everybody, and then close the podcast out with our plugs. It says, we have this. I love how these two flatter me, Steve-O says. He says, all podcasters should do this, LMAO. So he appreciates you guys flattering him. And then Jesse said something very funny. He said, ICP every time I go to the toilet. Okay, go ahead, guys.
Comparison.
That is a phenomenal set of final comments.
And we love the instructions, Dave Digital.
We're going to make sure we honor that.
Let's address those last two comments first.
Steve-O, we are glad you feel flattered.
We appreciate you keeping us on our toes.
Your questions drove this entire episode.
You absolutely deserve the flattery.
And Jesse, that is a classic jokes.
We absolutely love that ICP comment.
You know, we should have made that joke earlier.
Internet Computer Protocol, ICP.
Now, on to the main event.
The big farewell with a funny twist.
We truly appreciate the entire chat community.
Especially for these brilliant questions.
We want to make sure we give everyone a proper send-off.
Oh, go for it.
Before you do that proper send-off, just as I requested, Steve-O had one more final question. He said, would AWS be more prone to use Filecoin or Arweave?
We are happy to squeeze in one more from Steve-O.
He is coming in hot right at the finish line.
That is a next level question, Steve-O.
Would AWS be more prone to use Filecoin or Arweave?
If they were looking to mitigate risk, which they should be.
Filecoin is the more natural fit for them.
Filecoin is optimized for that AWS X3 style utility.
It's an active storage market based on continuous deals.
AWS could use it for backup and disaster recovery.
They could leverage Filecoin's verifiable proofs
to guarantee their customers that their data is replicated.
Arweave is for permanence, for archival, immutable data.
That one-time payment for 200 years of storage.
AWS's business model is continuous revenue.
So the continuous deal structure of Filecoin aligns better.
Though they could use Arweave for deep archival.
It's more likely they would choose Filecoin for their needs.
Because of the market-driven utility focus?
That was a fantastic final question.
Yeah, let's get back to that proper send-off.
We truly appreciate the entire chat community.
So we'll go through the list, give a funny line.
And then we'll wrap up the show with the plugs.
Let's start with Alexander G.
Goodbye, Alexander G, and thanks for the super sticker.
Remember, why did the data center get cold?
Because I had too many windows. Have a great week.
Next is Jesse. Thanks for the DNS clarity and the ICP joke.
Goodbye, Jesse. What do you call a happy storage node?
A philosopher. See you next time.
And Joe from Trade Intuition, thanks for joining us.
Goodbye, Joe. What's a smart contract's favorite music?
Algorithm and Blues. Good luck with your stream.
Curtis Hill, it was great having you here.
Goodbye, Curtis. Don't worry about DNS.
It never works, even when it says it does.
Johnny December, thanks for diving deep with us.
Goodbye, Johnny. Why don't programmers like nature?
Has too many bugs. Have a great week.
Steve-O, you are the MVP of this whole episode.
Goodbye, Steve-O. Did you hear about the permanent storing archive?
It was Arweave some. Keep digging deep.
Mike Vollmer, the Mod King, thank you for moderating.
Goodbye, Mike. What do you call a fake decentralized token?
A decoy. We appreciate you.
The J, Violet, a warm farewell to you.
Goodbye, Violet. Why was the code always late?
It had too much chain latency.
Rashad, great to have you in the chat.
Goodbye, Rashad. What's a miner's favorite place?
The crypto mine. Have a fantastic day.
JC, thanks for sticking around.
Goodbye, JC. What's the biggest lie in Web3?
I read the white paper.
Al Jr., fantastic to see you today.
Goodbye, Al Jr. What does a cloud wear under its clothes?
Their wear.
Army Piper, thank you for the DCA plan and the critique.
Goodbye, Army Piper. Why did the Web3 developer quit?
He didn't get enough token appreciation.
Tex-Mex Biomex Tony from the Billy Goat Tales team.
Goodbye, Tony. Why was the blockchain cold?
It had a lot of immutable snow.
JR, thanks for joining us this morning.
Goodbye, JR. What is a computer's favorite snack?
Microchips.
Crypto Billy, founder of Billy Goat Tales.
Goodbye, Crypto Billy. Why did the hacker fail?
He couldn't find the correct key.
And Infinite Team TA, thanks for being here.
Goodbye, Infinite Team TA. Why are DNS errors so common?
Because it's always DNS.
Dave Digital, thank you for wrangling the chat.
You've been the perfect conduit for this community.
We talked about how the user-friendly interfaces
We'll likely use both protocols underneath.
Arweave for permanent assets, Filecoin for dynamic data.
That's the key difference for users.
But with that underlying cryptographic guarantee,
That the data is verifiably stored and censorship resistant.
we truly appreciate the entire chat community.
Thank you so much for joining us for the deep dive.
We
Yep, go on.
Just before you slide into those plugs, we have one more person slide into the chat. I want you to say hi to them and then give him the same farewell as you gave everybody else with his own personalized joke. It's maybe a Band-Aid, and he tells me it looks sus. Dave Digital, and I tell him back, it's 100% sus.
You've got it, Dave Digital. We always have room for one more.
especially when they come in right before the plugs.
A huge welcome to maybe a Band-Aid.
And thanks for joining the deep dive.
That's a great name, by the way.
We appreciate you tuning in.
And we definitely want to give you a proper farewell.
So goodbye, maybe a Band-Aid,
Why did the blockchain developer break up with his girlfriend?
because he needed more space on his ledger.
Have a great week. Now we can slide into those plugs.
Thank you so much for joining us for the deep dive.
We stream Simple Terms live every Saturday at 9 a.m. EST.
Over on the Billy Goat Tales YouTube channel.
You can join the conversation live and ask us questions.
And connect with the community on the X Space every Tuesday at 8 p.m. EST.
And also catch the Sunday YouTube stream at 5 p.m. EST.
We'll see you next time.
Have a great day, everyone.
And keep digging deep.
Man, perfect. That was a fun show. Pretty cool. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody getting here. I think that was way cool. I think it was way fun. I really appreciate you, Andi, for sending that topic in. I think that all of us have learned something. Steve-O, all the questions that came in today, I think that was really cool. I also enjoyed the corny jokes. I think that's more of a tribute to their biomex in the chat. You know, the corny jokes. That was so funny. So I think that they're getting better. They said JR correctly. I'm really, that's exciting. Steve-O, I know that you probably want to interact with them. I've got up in the, which way is it there? Up in the corner up there. If you click on that, you can get a free Patreon membership, and where it's for 90 days. But what I do is I'll drop the link to where you can actually interact with this notebook if that's what you'd want to do. So exactly how I'm clicking join on the interactive notebook, you'll also be able to click join, and you'll be able to ask them questions from your own computer. It won't have the memory that of our chat today, but you'll be able to start your own chat with them and ask them any questions that you may have. So I will be putting that link shortly after the show today. Well, you know, guys, I know that during the Sunday show, Crypto Billy hasn't been doing the things that you guys were hoping that he would do and open the club. And, you know, I don't want you guys to feel bad. So I want to do what you guys want to do. And I want to open the club. So stretching, loosen up a little bit. Saturday morning. Come on, Steve-O, get up. Let people look at you like you're there. Come on, Mike, get up. Each one, I know where you're at. I know you can dance where you are, girl. Yes? Let's go. Open the club. Crypto Billy, I know why you don't open the club. Come on, get up. My favorite part. I love opening the club. I love dancing it up. This is fun. What a cool Saturday morning, guys. Thank you to everybody for being here. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the Billy Goat Tales Network as we all come together as a family at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock EST, 4 o'clock my time. Open the club. Open the club.
It's time to open the club. It's time to open the club. It's time to open the club. It's time to open the club.
Let's go, Texas. Let's go.
Billy Goat Tales, Billy Goat Tales, Billy Goat Tales. We love you, dear birthday. Billy Goat Tales, Billy Goat Tales.
All right, y'all.
We love you.
Until next week, please, if you like it, share it out. Join the Patreon up there.
It's time
So,
to
until
open
next
the
week,
club.
or till Sunday. Appreciate you guys for coming. Love love every single one of you. Thank you very much. Try
In simple terms, we break it down. Complex stuff, we make it sound clear and easy for you and me. Billy Cocktails and Dave Digital bring knowledge we share. In simple terms, we're everywhere.
Open the
We
club,
love you, fam.
open the club.
Hashtag Givers Game.
You know what time it is. It's time to open